You know, I've been wanting to look at this for a minute, bro. Now I seen a couple little videos here and there, but they weren't full fledged like vid docs. You know what I mean? Like how Patrick CC does them. All right, see that I'm not answering, and she's not imaginary. Okay, I can show you a picture right now. Anyway, yeah, like I was saying, the brutal humiliation of a mid tier comedian, bro.
Humiliated in
Now,
front of the entire
I should give context. I only know this guy because he's with the other guy who I also don't like. I've never seen him as funny. So I'm not gonna lie, this is warming my little heart a little bit. You know what I mean? This is doing my heart a little bit good.
Is mostly known as being the sidekick to Andrew Schultz on the Flagrant podcast. His wife Jasleen recently started creating content that many
He
feel
jumped right into this shit, bro.
is shocking or distasteful coming from a married woman.
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. So for context, I went to college from 2011 to 2016. I was popping my and living my best
I'm not gonna lie, Sock, I don't see it, bro. I don't see it.
life in these white boy frat houses, and I had a roster of guys that I would rotate.
This is not a two-way street. This is a one-way street. His money is our money, and my money is my money.
And if you think those clips are bad, trust me, it gets so much worse. Like when she expressed how badly she wanted to sleep with her co-host's husband.
Would y'all ever have an orgy together?
Ain't no fucking way she said that.
Rhea, I'm actively trying to have an orgy because this couple is...
Am I tripping? She got some big ass feet, bro. God damn, that's from the top of the arm midway to the bottom.
Good looking.
What she's saying is also crazy as well.
Yet,
Let's not go around that.
See him? Maybe. I just know that Nav's is like at least 10 inches.
You would only be down for an orgy if
or it's thick. It's thick.
Jasleen regularly romanticizes sleeping with other men, films her arguments
I think we can stop it right here, bro. I think we've seen enough.
with Akaash.
I think we've seen enough,
brags
bro.
about being
Stompers
a
for
gold
sure.
digger and actively refuses to kiss her husband in public, not even during his proposal. This is the type of relationship that 99% of you watching pray you will never find yourself in.
Truly.
But anyone who criticizes Jasleen and the potential harmful influence she may have on couples, she calls them incel red pillars. Then again, it's somewhat understandable considering sometimes the right message.
Why is that word being thrown around so much in today's time, bro?
Can come from
Incellers.
the wrong
What the
messenger.
fuck?
Because Akaash was actually warned by the Fresh and Fit podcast that he was going to find himself in this exact type of situation. In the early 2020s, there was a digital uprising of self-proclaimed alpha males who
Yo, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I find it hard to believe anyone who says they were not caught up in this little fucking red pill tornado that was fucking going on around this time, bro. Because I remember when I was, and I remember of who I saw when this like uprising happened, right? Like obviously I seen Andrew Tate, and then I feel like everyone had their own little person that they may not or may not have watched, right? They may have seen a lot of them, may not have watched them, right? I'm not gonna say the guy who I watched. I don't even know if he's still making content. Actually, after the stream, I want to see if he's still making content. I don't watch him anymore because so the experience for me with this red pill shit, right? You know, I was like 19, you know, thinking I was a grown man, and you know what I mean? And I saw some of his videos, and some of them I was like, wow, you know, not wow as in like, oh, he's right, but like, you know, I kind of agree with that. And then I started to realize, I'm like, yo, this all seems very one-sided. I feel like a lot of this content he's pulling from is one-sided. And it's all from one aspect of life. Like all women are not like this, right? So for you to grab only these particular situations and speak on them, now I feel like it's unfair. And if you know anything about me, I'm all for fairness, bro. So after that, I was like, all right, this just ain't it, bro. And a couple years later, they finally, you know, gave it a turn, this red pill shit, and I was like, yeah, I'm good off that. And then it's so kind of funny to me because one of my younger mans from that I knew in high school, like 2 grades under me, he was asking me about the guy. He's like, yo, you watch him? And I was like, I used to, but I was like, you know, I'll tell you this so you learn it a lot faster than I did. You know, watch the videos, right? And I'm not saying don't watch it, but make sure you're still able to form your own opinion about what he's showing you, and you're not just listening to what he's saying and taking it as law. You know what I mean? Because I did that for like a month. I did that for a stretch. I'm not gonna lie about it, but you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you gotta be fair. So I see
claimed their traditional views of masculinity were directly conflicting with mainstream liberal ideologies. Guys like Myron Gaines and Walter Weeks of the Fresh and Fit podcast got viral attention talking about traditional gender roles, relationship dynamics, and what being a real man is. And even though Akaash and Andrew host a comedy podcast, they often dabble in more serious, broader social commentary, which led to them inviting on the Fresh and Fit guys to discuss some of their views on masculinity and relationships, many of which
that's a good point.
Akaash disagreed with.
Hence me saying I was like 19 doing nothing but working. Like I wasn't even talking to women, just listening to, like, I would literally go to work, come home, listen to this like ridiculous red pill shit, and then go about my day, bro. Like I didn't even really think about what they were saying or what clip they were showing, or you know what I mean? I wasn't really even thinking about the logistics of it until like it just randomly hit me. The most streamed album that I showed you a couple songs on is about being an incel and different sides of it. But it's not embracing it, it's a criticism.
He was particularly bothered by this phrase or relationship philosophy that Fresh and Fit used that said, pimp or be pimped.
One person in the relationship, whoever cares less, has the leverage, and we want the guy to always care less. We want the man to always have the leverage.
Childish as
and you guys might not like hearing that.
Childish.
But we truly feel.
I'm not. These aren't new beliefs, bro. You're not telling me some none of us have ever heard. We all heard this from fraternity guys in college. I'm saying.
Hey, listen, bro. Write it down for when you get a PC. And when you get a PC, there goes that stream.
There's room in and I don't have a problem with a lot of the stuff you say. I just think there is room for growth. And you guys' refusal to acknowledge it almost kind of proves it to me, confirms it to me that you guys are not willing to grow right now. And that's fine. That's some ego shit.
Throughout the pod, Andrew seemed to have no problem having a serious, calm conversation about someone else's worldview despite not fully agreeing with it. But Akaash was...
First of all, Sock, fuck Fresh and Fit and fuck everybody on our screen right now. I'll tell you that much.
Clearly much more upset with what they were saying. Most of the podcast, it didn't feel like he was listening, but rather just waiting for his turn to speak and assert his own personal philosophy on dating. However, Fresh and Fit were mostly known to say outlandish and straight up disrespectful things about women on a regular basis. So most people naturally sided with Akaash's view of equity and equality in relationships, as well as understood his general frustration towards these guys. What we would later discover is that the reality of Akaash's own personal relationship reflected the exact situation that Fresh and Fit were trying to warn him about.
Which is so crazy, because these niggas are, I don't want to say they're never right. More often than not, they're wrong because they're speaking from a bad place. So for them to be right about him is fucking crazy.
But before we dive deeper, I want to
talk about one of the most
disturbing industries in America: data brokers. Mockery of him and Despite the episode ending relatively cordially, members of the Flagrant and Fresh and Fit podcast would trade shots at each other over the next few years. But tensions reached a boiling point when Myron of the Fresh and Fit podcast called out Akaash and his wife Jasleen. He tweeted, "Akaash Singh tried to lecture me about women years ago. Here's his wife making a mockery of him and herself on a podcast." And linked below was a full episode of the
he's the one who linked this one,
hosted by Jasleen Singh and her friend Nahal Mawani. The women described their podcast as unfiltered girl talk and sells itself as being for the ones who live life like the plot revolves around them, because it does. This description on the surface is relatively harmless, but once you take a closer look at the podcast itself, you see that this description is extremely accurate. Two women who think...
No, this shit ain't that old. That's even worse, my nigga.
Think they're the main characters of the world talking about themselves with absolutely no filter. One comment that stood out in this episode was where Jasleen discusses her and her husband's finances.
Man that doesn't want to have a joint bank account or isn't being transparent with his accounts or has separate accounts, that's a red flag. And
Bitch, tell that shit to Hakimi. Tell that to Hakimi.
I'll say it again because I know there's going to be already like incel troll mother. This is not a two-way street. This is a one-way street. His money is our money, and my money is my money. And look, have I only made $600 from content creating?
Wow, I went up $100 from last week.
But that...
I'm not gonna lie, I got a serious fucking question. not even a serious question, a serious statement, bro. I feel like the luckiest people on earth are people who think like this and still find themselves in a position where they don't have to think about life. I don't know if that makes sense, right? You're thinking of how life is so skewed, and by the grace of the universe, you fell into the lap of someone who is willing to finance your lifestyle, bro. Because if that was not the case, and I mean, I'm pretty sure there's many men on this earth who has endless amount of funds who just wants a face to be next to theirs, right? But like, you don't even have to really think about how tomorrow will go, how the day after will go. You don't think maybe I need to change my thinking so that way life gets a little better for me. You know what I mean? I feel like those are the absolute luckiest people on this planet, bro. By far.
Money! Okay? So just so we're clear, no, that's actually a red flag, because I know so many girls in my life personally that have been with guys that weren't transparent about money, and they ended up being terrible in other aspects, and like people ended up breaking up in divorces, etc., etc. So that is actually my number one. They must be generous with their finances from day one.
For context, Jasleen is not a celebrity by any means. She does not have a job of her own and has only been able to build her internet following thanks to her husband supplementing her lifestyle. And this is not a dig at her at all. She talks about this a lot in her content, and some even think she brags about it.
Okay, hi, my name is Jasleen, and these are things that I do as a stay-at-home wife. Or sorry, I don't do. I don't cook, I don't clean, and I don't do my husband.
I feel like shit like this is what fueled red pill shit. Because what I just said, the statement I just made, now I seem like red pill. I'm just talking about life in general. And you see how I didn't specify it to women? I just said people who don't think. You know what I mean?
Husband's laundry. I feel that I
Third
don't
eye,
have
bro.
to
You gotta
do
open it. You gotta open
things
it.
to
You gotta
justify
open it, bro.
my worth that I'm allowed to do this.
Now, some may interpret this.
Long story short, this is ridiculous. He's embarrassing himself. And everybody on this planet should do something.
Does just jokes, but she also frequently posts day in my life videos where she romanticizes her routine of doing essentially nothing all day long.
Eyebrow threading, what the fuck is that?
I actually do this. I just do this. Like, I sit here. This.
Now, if this is the agreement this couple has in their relationship, then that's fine. It is what it is. Being a stay-at-home wife or mother is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of, but it's the aggressive tone and entitlement she gives off that has earned her the label of a gold digger, something that she subtly implies to be.
Now, like, people are like, oh, that's gold digging, or that's something. No, it's not.
Okay, then I'm digging.
Yeah.
If that wasn't bad enough, Jasleen frequently discusses other men that she would like to cheat on her husband with.
I never watched that show, but like, he's on my hall pass list.
Oh, yeah.
Chase Crawford,
Hot pass list. Say more. Say
Jacob
more.
Elordi, Austin Butler.
Now, some people see the whole celebrity crush thing as unserious because the celebrity feels so distant, so unreachable, that it's basically the same thing as fantasizing about a fictional character. Like, it's not really cheating because in their minds the situation is so unrealistic.
Which I absolutely do not agree with, bro. That whole celebrity crush shit is just... It's just a crazy ideology, bro, to say like, oh, man, but for that one person, I drop everything right now, bro. Like, just because you won't see them on a day-to-day basis does not make it okay, bro, to say that if this person showed up at your doorstep, you would leave your partner right there on the spot for them, bro. And then more often than not, the celebrity crush doesn't even look nothing like your partner. So like, what are we doing here?
That it becomes harmless. Others see this as straight up openly admitting they'd hook up with someone else that wasn't their husband because celebrities are just people too, after all.
Him in that movie, like, did kind of like rewire my sexual.
But is that your type, Ranbir Kapoor?
Rewire my sexual
but,
chemistry.
Like, he was so hot and tall, and he's like Mera Naam Bunny, like Bugs Bunny, and I was like, okay.
But Jasleen didn't just openly fantasize about sleeping with other famous men. She quite literally.
You know what's crazy? If she just left Akaash, personally, she just left Akaash and did this podcast while she was single, I think it'd be good. I think it'd actually be good content. I just think it's not good content when you're like, she's not directly degrading him, but it kind of feels like she is at the same time, bro. I just think if she was single, this would be a lot better. Like, she'd be able to reap the rewards a lot better than what
She admitted
what's
to wanting
happening
to
now.
sleep with her co-host husband, Nav.
Would y'all ever have an together with your husband?
Priya,
She tried.
Wait, Nav? Am I stupid? No, that's not Nav.
Other famous men, she quite literally admitted to wanting to sleep
Yeah, that's not
with
that.
her
Okay, that's not
co-host
I'm
husband,
tripping.
Nav.
That's not the Nav I was thinking about, bro.
Together with your husband.
Priya,
She tried.
I'm actively trying to have an because this couple is so good looking, and you haven't seen Nav yet. But wait till you see him. His body goes crazy. His face card always slays, never declines. And it's kind of weird because I'm talking about your husband.
No, I kind of love it, but I'm like, us four? Okay, maybe.
I just know that Nav's dick is like at least.
It's hard, bro. It's hard to talk about, to say what I want to say and not sound like, you know what I mean, like one of them. But like, dogs, could you imagine if I was like, yo, your girl? Oh, I know her shit is crazy. I know her shit's super soaker. Like, in what realm is that okay to say, bro? I wouldn't joke about that with anybody. I don't care how close I am, bro. Not even if I had like an older brother or a younger brother. It's just weird, bro. Or a fucking twin. That's like a line, bro. Like, this shit feels like it has no boundaries. Which is like I said, bro. And but before, like what I said about her being single, it would have been fine. Even saying shit like this while you're single is just, that's bad rap, bro. That's bad rap. And there's no way you can cover up that joke. No past joke, no future jokes, nothing. You cannot clear up talking about someone else's partner, someone's partner's private part, bro. Wait, like
10 inches.
You would only be down for an orgy.
Or it's thick. It's thick.
The
And what
original
culture is that
question was a
valid?
joke about all four of them sleeping together. However, Jasleen only talks about Nav and never mentions her own husband, even excluding him from the hypothetical and talking about a three-person situation. Nahal clearly attempts to steer the conversation back to the dynamic being four people to respect Akaash, while Jasleen continues to fantasize about Nav. Once again, you could argue that Jasleen is just joking. But when you joke about
I'd be surprised if she's not cheating. Keep it a stack. I'd be surprised if she haven't cheated already.
something over and over again, especially in a short period
I'd be
of time,
surprised.
you start to wonder if there's a little bit of truth to that. Even while talking about her husband in a positive light, Jasleen can't help but imply that Nav is a better husband than her own. To make matters worse, only minutes later in the podcast, they bring their husbands on, where Akaash is forced to sit next to the man
And now he gotta sit there and listen, bro.
his wife was just fantasizing about having sex with, and she once again brings up having a threesome with Nahal and Nav while Akaash is sitting right there.
I'm a hustler who scams a little bit. I'm not a scammer who
I'm not
hustles.
gonna lie, that was sexy, and that's why I'm actively trying to have an orgy.
Even at the end of
Like, why are you bringing this back up? Man, if he's happy,
the episode,
happy.
Jasleen
Well, I
once
don't give a
again,
fuck about if he's
completely
happy, but you know what I
unprovoked,
mean? If he's
states that
happy,
she
I don't
wants
care.
to sleep with Nav.
no harm, no
Main
foul.
character pod. We love you. We hate you.
I
We
guess
respect
we
you.
love you, but I actually love you in one of all of you.
You would be hard-pressed to make a compelling argument that Jasleen is only joking when she brought up this topic multiple
It's
times.
crazy,
and when we get
bro.
to hear from Akaash directly about his perspective of their relationship, you almost get this sense of relief from him that he finally can express how he really feels about Jasleen's behavior.
When she's running 2 hours late to a dinner reservation that I worked really hard to get, and then I'm like, baby, we're running late, and she's like, are you kidding me? Do you know I don't give a if we're late to this dinner? They're lucky to have us. And I'm like, oh, that's what we're doing. #1 restaurant in the New York Times. You know how hard a reservation
She's like, call them right now. Call them right now. This is not a fun
I'm
session.
not even joking. This is how main character I am. I was like, Sema will be lucky that I would grace them with my presence tonight.
Jasleen seems to think that being
I kind of feel disgusted now, bro.
the
Not gonna
main
lie.
character
I'm
means
not gonna
being
lie.
as entitled
I kinda
and
feel
rude as
disgusted now,
possible,
bro.
with no
I
regard
don't
for
know
anyone
anymore.
else's personal feelings. Stories like these demonstrate that Jasleen's selfish demeanor isn't just played up for laughs on a podcast, but exists within her real life as well. Akaash comes off visibly
shit's bad,
frustrated
right,
when talking about his wife's toxic behavior, turning it into a therapy session for him where he can finally let out his pent-up rage.
When I say I'm tired, she can't just let me be tired. I travel, I work, and I'm very blessed to do what I
He
do.
also
I
has
work.
really bad insomnia.
I have
It's
really
like a
bad
known
insomnia.
thing.
I work 335 days a year. I'm so blessed to do what I do. This is not a complaint. But when I tell my wife I'm tired, I want her to say, I'm so.
He's still booking this nigga? Do you agree? I'm not talking about none of that shit right now, bro. I'm telling you right now, I'm not talking about none of that, bro. I done gave my opinion on that ways back. It ain't changed, so ain't no need to speak on it again.
Sorry, baby. I understand. That must be exhausting, buying me all these things. Instead, she goes, so am I. And if I dare open my mouth to go, what the did you do that made you tired? Now it's a problem. Now it's a fight. So I gotta sit there.
I went to Pilates.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
My a-hole.
Now, there definitely is a humorous delivery to the story that Akaash is telling, but it does...
Secondhand embarrassment is very fucking real. I'm not gonna lie. This is low-key why Red Pill Man prosper because of guys like this, not gonna lie. It's crazy, too. It's worse that they came onto his show, right? And then he tried to wrap it up in a bow. As in, well, what you guys say just isn't true, and you guys don't want to hear about progressive thinking, right? And it's happening to you. Now you giving them more fuel, bro.
To be rooted
now these niggas got life again.
He has with his relationship. Jasleen displays an extremely selfish and entitled mindset, both on the podcast and in that.
The thing is, this is the thing though. I'm not saying Red Pill is bad. Red Pill is bad because they give horrible advice as if everyone is the same. That's what's wrong with it, right? This is a case where they were actually right and he didn't listen. And you know what's going on in your household, bro. So you know that they were talking to niggas like you. Elephants or donkeys? I know what that means. You're not gonna catch me. You know it's about you, bro. So why not just come out and say, I'm in this predicament and this is how I go about it because I feel this has worked for me, right? Rather than just dismissing the whole thing for days later for it to come out that you're actually in the same 360 as every other artist, bro.
In real life. Are we really
as the artists are referring
that
to
all of this is just funny, just jokes? Well, ironically, that's basically how Akaash justifies putting up with this behavior.
It's adorable when she does these things. Like, I just look at it and here's the rule in our marriage. It's been unspoken, but now we're just saying it now that we're both making content. If it's funny, we're good. Like, if it's funny, and if it's not funny and it hurt the other person's feelings, you apologize, you move on.
Any logical person understands this is an extremely slippery slope.
I was about to say that, bro. This is a fine line.
Passed off as a joke or an attempt to make a joke. Like this video she posted to TikTok where you can hear them both chuckling from time to time, but it's clear they are both frustrated and quite literally just documenting themselves having an argument.
Do you know what my husband just tried to do to me?
Yeah.
We're leaving. Shut up. We're leaving in Paris in 5 hours, so tensions are a little high.
Yeah.
We
Leaving
also
in Paris.
just redid our closet.
This is all her closet now. She took the whole closet.
Which we already agreed upon.
And now she's saying she doesn't have no space.
And now I'm saying I don't have space for
it's
all my.
funny. Nah, he's sugar.
I don't have space for. Can you show?
Yeah.
I don't have space for all my Indian suits because I like my dresses spaced out. Do you know what Akaash just did?
Here you go. Watch this. Oh my God.
I'm not doing
Look how
that.
much space exists.
I'm not doing that.
Look how much space
So what do
exists.
You want to buy a separate house with all hanger space?
No.
In another video, she documents her being stressed out about packing for a lavish vacation in the wealthiest area of America, which is only a 3-hour drive from their apartment.
Okay, so me and my husband are supposed to leave tonight to go to the Hamptons for 2 weeks, and I haven't even packed anything yet. So I was just like, I'm really stressed. Like, I don't want to go tonight because I still have to pack.
Is the
I haven't
hub
even started. I have
low
to
key?
finish my laundry.
Not really, because it's not your it's not. You have no attachment to the person who's on there.
Oh, today.
So I won't say it's the same.
I had a mani-pedi.
Oh, wow, that's so stressful.
Wait, and I had a massage.
It's how stressful to go to the Hamptons for 2 weeks. Oh, the Hamptons, Hawaii.
I ain't gonna lie, Kosh. Go get you a gully rat, man. Go get you a hood. Not a hood, but go get somebody from the streets, bro. Somebody who appreciates, the idea of having money now.
Up with Jasleen's selfish behavior and entitlement because he thinks they are just cute jokes, but it clearly isn't just
and she's
jokes.
dead ass serious. That's the problem.
Says that Akaash's birthday is her least favorite day of the year because it's the only day she can't be mean to him.
Okay, May the 4th is Akaash's birthday. And
May the 4th be with you.
Yes.
Yeah, and every year I dread it because I have to be nice the whole day, and I have to get him something, and I have to also be nice and do like acts of kindness.
She said that twice. She said that twice.
She's really not okay with it.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, it's really hard.
for her, it's really hard.
Bro.
She needs to just,
Listen, I'm just used to being treated like a princess all day, every day. So that one day that I don't.
Oh, what torture.
Yeah.
Akaash is the Indian Will Smith. Bro, Akaash
Damn, why did he put up comments? You know the comments are never nice.
married the girl
Why did he
Fresh
do
and
this?
Fit warned you not to marry. She's the embodiment of what Fresh and Fit said to avoid.
See what I'm saying? And I just gave these niggas a whole lot more life.
His rejection of Fresh and Fit's ideology now looked more like a defensive response born out of insecurity, considering her previous comments about her cheating on her husband, the unapologetically consumerist lifestyle that he funds, and the clear, unsettling tension she has with Akaash made many question what her true motives were in the relationship.
Say it again, Just.
Many viewed Jaslyn as a gold digger who had no actual emotional or romantic tie to the man that she married, and these sentiments would only grow stronger as people took notice of a very strange pattern of behavior, that being her tendency to avoid kissing
I can see it, bro.
and even straight up dodging his kisses when he tries to initiate.
I don't know.
She's a good liar.
Then she's a good liar.
That's a friend that lies for you and not to you.
And this was not just a one-time occurrence.
Listen, I already told my shorty. You get 2 times in the history of us being together to try to fake avoid a kiss, and I'm leaving, bro. I ain't playing that shit.
Entire
Hell no.
compilations have been
Two
created
times.
showing just how often Jaslyn avoids kissing her own husband. To make matters worse, not only did she dodge a kiss from Akaash during their marriage proposal, but she also dodged his kiss a second time when he proposed to have their vows renewed. But Jaslyn says it's nothing more than her being uncomfortable with public displays of affection.
I'll also respond to the people saying I don't like my husband because I turned away from a kiss. I've never liked PDA, physical touch. I find it really overstimulating, and so it's something I actually work through.
So give me money, but do it from a distance. I got you. I see it, bro.
Language.
Now, having issues with PDA are extremely common. However, it is worth considering all of the other things Jaslyn has no problem doing on camera. She's constantly talking.
Yeah, I don't get that. That's pretty weird. You have no problem talking about your quote unquote friends, husband's, size, but you don't like PDA with your own partner? I find that weird a little bit.
On her podcast
a little bit,
and on TikTok, not to mention the fact that she posted an entire video where she is clearly not wearing any pants, getting treatment for a bruise she got during, and as if it couldn't get worse.
Wait, what?
Getting treatment for a bruise she got during, and as if it couldn't get worse, she also.
Wait.
Has no problem doing
I missed the crucial part.
She's constantly talking about sex on her podcast and on her TikTok, not to mention the fact that she posted an entire video where she is clearly not wearing any pants, getting treatment for a bruise she got during and as if it couldn't get worse, she also flirts with the doctor.
Also, I heard you're single. Is that true?
We're gonna go back to treating.
Nah, why would they use a picture of Akaash in that, bro?
Very graphic conversations, half-naked videos of herself, and flirting with other men, but she draws the line at giving her own husband a kiss. Just doesn't really make sense. Not only did Jaslyn look extremely shady, it now seemed like she was perfectly comfortable with lying about her relationship to make herself look better. And it turns out she wasn't just lying to her small audience, she was also lying to her own husband as well. Now, Jaslyn constantly claiming that she has main character energy is particularly interesting. This is supposed to mean that you are liberated from others' judgment and confident in yourself. But for some, saying you have main character,
and that's what I was saying, bro. Anybody else, I'd feel bad, and I do still feel a smidge bad for him. I feel kind of bad, but like, dude, all of that shit you spew on the internet, bro, that's there for eons and eons on record, and this is just your life, honestly. You know what goes around comes around, bro. That's all I can really say to that. And I thought he was just living a good life at home and then coming on the internet shitting on people. Nah, you got a shitty home too. Well, it might not be shitty to him. He might like it, but to us, it's kind of crazy.
It should be crazy to him if it's not. To admit that you are a narcissist, and narcissists tend to lie about everything, which is why many refused to believe Jaslyn when she said that she was a virgin before meeting Akaash. Akaash has previously stated that he and Jaslyn were both.
Now, this section is what I heard when his story first broke. Now, he said his wife was a virgin, and she wasn't. I didn't know she was talking about all this other shit on the side.
Virgins before they met.
My wife also hadn't had any partners, so that helped us connect a lot more.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you believe her? If you've seen her, then it's hard to believe. I remember I was just like, what?
Jasleen, in a separate podcast, made the same statement.
I was at the point where I was ready.
On SoundCloud is crazy. I'm just saying, bro.
Because I don't know if you told her. Because I was.
Oh no, I didn't know you were a virgin too.
So I was a virgin too when I met him.
However, posts made by Jasleen herself tell a completely different story, like the one where she reminisces on the days she spent in college, passing herself around to other men.
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. So for context, I went to college from 2011 to 2016. I was popping my and living my best life in these white boy frat houses, and I had a roster of guys that I would rotate.
Now, technically, she doesn't say that she was sleeping with them, but
she just said she was popping that hoo-ha in rotation. Yeah.
Is heavily
context clues, buddy.
And despite many feeling like they caught her in a lie, she surprisingly doubled down in a response to the criticism, claiming that she did in fact lose her virginity to Akaash. Even though Jasleen has disabled the comments on her social media, preventing anyone from criticizing her on her own page, she still sees the backlash, and her justification for acting the way she does online just makes everything so much worse.
Not a Myra comment is crazy.
Made a few public responses on her TikTok where she claims that she is being canceled. Which is funny because she has nothing to be canceled from. She has no show to be fired from, no brand deal to lose, no job, no platform.
I mean, she's pulling views on TikTok though.
Form that anyone could realistically take away from her. In the last few years, cancel culture has become such a buzzword that people will use as a shield against any form of criticism. If an influencer or celebrity frames their criticism as, oh, they're just trying to cancel me, a certain group of viewers will immediately jump to their defense without doing any research. They hear the word cancel and assume it's just another example of people online trying to ruin.
Well, cancel culture is also it's not really the best thing for the internet. I will say that, bro. You know, and that's, I can't really get into detail right now, but it isn't a good thing.
In someone's life for no reason. But Jasleen is the one who decided to blurt out all of this stuff about her relationship for the internet, and she's being criticized for it. It's that simple. But she mostly chalks up all the negative attention to just coming from red pillars and incels trying to cancel her because she doesn't fit the traditional wife role.
When you're a simple little boy, it just breaks their brain that a girl can like just be loved for simply existing. My husband loves me for simply existing. I don't have to cook or clean to justify my worth.
Now, nobody is saying that she needs to cook and clean and fit some 19.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm not saying that. I was just saying that all I was saying was that I don't think it's okay to be talking about someone else's private part when you're in a marriage. Which I feel like that's okay to say.
1950s idea of a trad wife to have value. The issue is that publicly romanticizing other men, joking about cheating, and openly fantasizing about life before your husband isn't empowerment, it's disrespect. It's not about gender roles, it's about basic partnership and companionship. And her mentality...
That's what I was gonna say. That's also what I was gonna say. That was also what I was gonna say with the problem about Red Pill, bro. The problem with Red Pill is just, it gives gender war, which is not okay. Okay.
Behavior influencing others is potentially harmful to relationships or even single people all around the world. Her second response came a few days later, after people had thoroughly scrubbed through her digital footprint. Jasleen should have realized at this point that it was more than just incels coming after her, but she does make an interesting point about the criticism she was receiving.
Why are you mad if me and my husband are cool with each other, if we both make jokes at each other's expense? The difference is my husband will go on stage and say whatever the he wants about me. No one has anything to say.
Is there any evidence of this? I feel like, yeah, that's a good point. I need to see if Akaash made any
God,
jokes about her on stage.
It's so relatable. But then I come on TikTok and I make jokes, and now you have a problem because I don't have a mic in my hand?
Ironically, yes. If she did have a microphone in her hand, it would be way different. If she was trying to make...
Wait. Oh, wait, he might be on something here. Hold on. He might be on something here.
As a stand-up comic, and her material focused around her being a gold digger or cheating on her husband, people would likely assume that she's being self-deprecating and not to take her as seriously. Because when you are on stage with a mic...
Let me sit on that one for a second. I get what he's saying. I guess. I'm just trying to think. What if she told that joke about her friend's husband looking good, right? Nah, I think if she told that on stage, maybe like, all right, nigga, she's doing her job, like she's performing. But I guess, I don't know. It was just how hard she hammered the point home. Like how much she almost seemed like she was really trying to have that happen.
People understand that it is a form of performance art that was thought about, written.
Yeah, but podcasting low-key is a form of performing arts as well. So that's why I'm like, I'm having a hard time gauging this.
Perfected over time, but she isn't selling herself as a comedian. Her podcast is branded as Unfiltered Girl Talk, which implies that Jasleen is offering her honest thoughts and feelings while present. Not to mention that the same things she tries to pass off as jokes, she also attempts to justify as valid opinions she genuinely has. Also, her TikTok is quite literally a behind-the-scenes look at her real life and real dynamics with her husband. She is picking and choosing what should be considered as jokes and what is serious to, again, deflect criticism. This is likely the exact same thing she does to Akaash in their personal relationship, which is why he doesn't even realize he is being disrespected and humiliated. Akaash certainly complains about his relationship while doing stand-up.
My wife is objectively gorgeous. Me? Nah. So that's what you gotta do. I gotta work my ass off, and then every time she starts looking at me and she starts assessing my beauty, I just throw a bag at that. Chest pass! I'm telling you, ladies, if you have a good guy, do you know what he needs? A vacation. You hear it all the time. A relationship is hard work. Marriage is a job. Well, every good job gives you 2 weeks vacation. And if you have a...
I've only heard one good Akaash joke. It wasn't even a joke. He was guessing what someone did, and I guess it's because they both... Akaash is Indian, right? Am I bugging? But I guess it's because they both, like... They're both Indian, so it wasn't hard to like make the joke. Like if I want to make an assessment of what a black guy did for work, right, it'd be within my right to do so. That was the only time he made a good joke. Other than that, I'm not gonna lie, he's not funny.
Good man, I promise you I know what his dream vacation is. Because every good guy's dream vacation is your vacation. Go somewhere. Go anywhere you want.
But in a more personal setting, like a podcast, for example, Akaash is significantly more graceful when talking about his wife.
And even that joke, it didn't even feel like he was saying anything like remotely disrespectful to her, in my opinion.
She just says everything she's feeling at whatever moment. It's done. She just tells me when she's pissed off at me. It just all comes out. It took me a while to appreciate that because initially I'm like, why are you so combative? What's this about? God damn, stop fighting with me all the time. And then I was like, oh no, she just lets it out and she's free. All these little social niceties that we all do where we just lie.
Bro took the simping crown from Will Smith. Feeling the pressure from all the backlash, Akaash started interrupting his stand-up performances to talk about social media drama. As one fan wrote, I went to the 7 p.m. show last night and it was extremely awkward. He was clearly not processing the situation well and he ended the set 20 minutes early. He spent the first 10
Yo, Sock, what time does that game start?
10 to 15 minutes of the set talking about the controversy, how his wife has been loyal to him, and everything she has been saying is just jokes and is fine with him. No one in the crowd knew how to take this information, and I truly believe that the majority of fans there had no idea any of this was going on. This only made him spending like 1/3 of his set on it even more awkward. He then proceeded to jokingly call his wife a whore every time he brought her up, which was just not helping. I think it ruined his whole set and the mood never recovered, which I think is why he ended it early. Other fans recalled a similar experience, and they all seemed to share the sentiment that Akaash was clearly rattled by the...
Okay, I don't think he's gonna read this one. All right, I'm back. This was only my second stand-up show ever, so I didn't know what to expect too much. It lasted about 45 minutes to an hour. The first 15 was him just addressing the Jasleen stuff. He disregarded the whole thing, talked about how much they loved each other, how she stuck by him when he was broke. Oh my god, that voice track was disgusting. Do not clip that. The opening acts were more funny. I didn't laugh much during Akaash's performance. He did little crowd work, but his heart wasn't really in it. The whole thing ended up revolving around his wife, and I didn't care for it. W Reader, 8:30. I bet.
As a result, one fan even claimed that he asked beforehand if the crowd had heard about the drama.
One more. Is he gonna? I'm gonna read it. One more thing I forgot to mention. He started off by asking everyone if they have heard about the drama, and asked us to raise our hand if we hadn't heard about it. Then he goes, I'm relieved so many of you haven't heard about it. He was clearly feeling nervous.
And was relieved to find out most of them hadn't. Someone else recorded a recent...
I feel like this is the thing. I feel like great comedians would have made fun of it, right? Even if it hurt, they would have made comedy out of it. to kind of take the, like, you know, the major impact of the blow off of their backs.
Performance Akaash did, in which he tries to explain why he thinks his wife isn't what the internet says she is.
These narratives, people calling your wife a gold digger and all these other things.
Sorry, Akaash. I don't know how you say his last name. Singh. Oh, anyway, Akaash opened up about his wife, Jasleen, at his recent stand-up comedy show, and told a story of her still being by his side when he was broke and homeless.
So I'm gonna tell one story that I have never even told her, honestly. My wife and I met in 2014. I was not making much money. I was getting $25 a night doing stand-up. I was on MTV shows that paid dog shit money. But then in 2018, I went flat broke. 34 years old, I probably made $4,000 the entire year. And we couldn't even afford the living room we lived in New York City. Me and her sleeping on a hardwood floor. I'm 34 years old. She's 25 years old. I'm looking at this girl like, man,
I don't even like that age gap. I ain't gonna lie to you.
And you could go be with an Indian who's a doctor. I have nothing to give her. It's just a light jacket. It's like October. We have nothing. So I hand her the jacket, and then she said, "What's this for?" I said, "You can use that as a pillow." And then she goes, "Well, what are you going to use?" And I said, "I'll figure it out." She handed me back the jacket. She goes, "You take this." And then she laid with her head on my chest and her arm around me the entire night. And I remember thinking in that moment, I don't know if I'm going to be able to marry this girl because I'm so broken. I'm in such a bad place, and it's a dark time in my life. But I know I will never find a girl that loves me this much ever again.
Now this paints the narrative of a girl who was loyal to the core to a man who was at his lowest moment.
That's a fire story and all that, but gee. I mean, like, okay, like, you know, what's for you is for you. I get that. But dude, this is like a different fucking level, bro. This is insane. It really is, bro. I cannot imagine. And maybe that's why it's insane to me, because I can't imagine it. But just, I don't know, bro. The shit she does, talking about someone else's husband's private part, and not just once, but continuously speaking to it throughout the length of said podcast episode, like, that would require a serious talking to. Like, we would have to sit down and renegotiate these terms. Like, that's insane.
Ford deserves the fruits of his success, but there is a few key details that he left out, because shortly after this story that Akaash explained of them sleeping on the floor, Jasleen did actually leave him, but then came back to him when his career was revived.
Never mind. I know
Akaash
that.
says that he made nearly no money during the first 4 years of their relationship and then went broke in 2018. However, they both have publicly claimed that he was making a six-figure salary in 2017.
He was getting a lot of work from MTV, like his first show was Wildin' Out, and then he did Guy Code, and he was just like on a bunch of MTV shows, and he was able to like reach a six-figure salary, which at the time was really huge for us. But then in 2018, like all of the opportunities started to dry up. He was kind of aging out of the MTV bracket, and he wasn't really getting any attention from the industry, so he was pretty much losing all his income. And at the same time, I was working a really toxic job.
Is she recording? Who's driving?
With like a toxic manager and like working till 2 a.m, and it just caused a lot of stress on our relationship.
I had like 7 MTV shows. I wasn't making crazy money. I was making like low six figures, but my girlfriend at the time, she moved into our place.
Low six figures. Okay.
And then all of a sudden, end of 2017, all the shows started suddenly getting canceled one by one. So I went from making like a low six figures, nothing crazy, but 6 figures in 2017 to 2018, probably making like $4,000 for the whole year. I'm not even exaggerating.
Jasleen actually did end up dumping Akaash during this dark time, sparked by what she claims was a fight between her and Akaash's mother. Then the two eventually got back together months later, and conveniently enough, Akaash's Flagrant podcast was just starting to blow up and was making $10,000 a month in Patreon revenue. Akaash and Jasleen finally
Patreon's really fucking paid, bro. I'm starting to learn that.
Decided to sit down and address all of the backlash on the Flagrant podcast. Andrew and the guys created this trial where they pretended to investigate Jasleen and ask her all of the tough questions that the internet is demanding answers to. What's funny is that everyone seems to be enjoying this besides Akaash.
Now, why the fuck would you let why would you bring this on the web, bro? Like, why would you let people use this for content?
Animated one throughout the pod,
in front
and
of
it
you.
seems like he just wants to get this thing over
Bro, I gotta
with.
redo my
Now, the
fucking
two
thing,
didn't
bro.
say
I gotta
anything
brush my
that
hair
we
again.
haven't heard before. Jasleen basically chalks everything up to being just a joke or exaggerated because most people don't contextualize her background and upbringing.
Have you ever heard of the repressed Catholic schoolgirl?
Never.
I was, yeah.
Never.
Okay, so I was.
His Catholic school was in his living room. Imagine how repressed he was.
I was a repressed Indian girl that I didn't even watch Jersey Shore in high school because I felt it to be too inappropriate. So when I got to college, I'm like, oh my God, I can dress however I want. I can do whatever I want.
You can have a roster of frat boys.
What does a roster mean?
So it didn't actually translate to a roster. It just meant like 2 guys I was talking to and flirting with at the same time. That's it.
That's all.
Yeah.
And when you say hooking up, I think people
When
think you
I
meant...
mean up, I just meant making out. Again, like everything I say is
Hey, do that in college? They're just kissing. That's it. I don't know.
so amplified and
Feel a little weird.
hyperbolic because it's so like incongruous to who I actually am as
Niggas in my high school was doing more than that.
a person.
Right. So you're saying you're a big old prude.
Yeah, literally.
Throughout the episode, Akaash is kind of bullying and teasing her constantly as if this is to prove that they do it to each other and it's not just a one-sided thing, even though on podcasts
That shit felt hella scripted just now.
before this, he is typically more graceful towards her and is not just outright calling her a bitch.
Yeah, she's actually made a non-cooking ass.
You could make that?
Keema. This,
Really?
this useless.
You can't say this with all due respect, please. You gotta say with all due respect.
Why?
Well, I guess it's your wife.
What's on the internet was right about everything.
No.
Golding a woman.
Yeah. Okay, so you can make all these things.
Yeah, this was disgusting, bro.
Yeah.
One of the more interesting moments was when the two discussed her bringing up and being so persistent about having an with her co-host's husband. And again, she said it was just a joke, but in the middle of that, she remained firm in her stance that she was a virgin, and even Andrew was surprised.
So if she had a body count,
Why they got that short? Why do they have that guy in the back like that, bro? He's like
and like hey. cut that. But
Yeah.
because she doesn't, and I know how like innocent she actually is.
Oh, you
it's
are a virgin?
absurd
That's
to me.
real?
I was
You
a
were a
virgin
virgin?
until I met him. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, good to know.
Yeah.
And if she wasn't, that body count thing, I'd have been like, what are we doing here?
Right.
Because I would have been insecure about it. But I can be, not that I'm so secure, but with that joke, I'm like so secure.
Oh,
in it
I
'cause know.
absolutely would feel insecure.
And I think
Yeah.
stupidly, I was like, oh, it's all of us. It's not like
Yeah,
talking.
that is stupid.
Yeah.
But the
This is
87,000
a
dislikes on the
crazy-
video says that the viewers were not exactly believing whatever they were saying.
I mean, they got paid for this stupid shit, so I guess they
Are
won.
trying
I guess
to
they won. They got
convince
paid for it.
us or
I don't know what to do.
themselves? Akaash still believes her body count is 1. At this point, someone needs to interview one of those frat boys. The fake laughing is almost corporate level.
Yeah.
That being said, it seems like Akaash genuinely believes his wife is out of his league. He said publicly that she is far more attractive than any woman he thought he could ever get. When you feel lucky just to be with someone, you start letting things slide that
This
would
is true,
normally
bro.
hurt you. You convince yourself the jokes don't mean anything, the disrespect isn't real, and the public humiliation is just content. Jasleen behaves like someone who assumes she'll be forgiven no matter what, so she has no reason to self-reflect on her behavior because her husband doesn't push back. You can only see where this will lead. Eventually, Akaash won't be able to supply her.
I wonder if he's just one of those comedians who takes like he just takes life as a joke, bro. I'm assuming that's just his personality. Like the same thing with Curry. I was saying, like people was like, oh, I don't know how Curry this shit go. Maybe he just a chill motherfucker.
Her demands.
I'm
The
not, but that don't
vacations
mean he
aren't
can't be.
enough. The house isn't big enough. The clothes aren't expensive enough. The bedroom activities aren't enough. And that stuff is hard
Oh,
enough
I
to
don't
deal
know.
with
I ain't-
privately.
I ain't know
Now
she was
he has
saying
to
that
run
shit,
the
bro. That's
risk of
crazy.
her expressing all of these frustrations publicly on her TikTok and podcast. It seems that Jasleen is a product of a generation that confuses on-screen dysfunctionality with personality, treating toxic characters as an aesthetic role model with main character energy.
Like the closest character to me is probably Maddie from Euphoria.
Maddie from Euphoria is a character best known for her engagement in
Hey,
toxic
Euphoria reference. I cannot wait for that shit to come back, bro.
relationships and selfish personality, oftentimes emotionally harming other people to get what she wants. So it's interesting that Jasleen says she could only act as Maddie because she can only act like herself. Jasleen does not see Maddie as a problematic teenage girl. She sees her as a diva and an icon. And
which is a great point. You are a full-ass adult, bro. Do not compare yourself to a teenager. That's weird.
With her as a result. If someone has a problem with her behavior, then they're just an incel, or a red pillar, or a misogynist. But if the pushback comes from someone that she loves, like her friend or her husband, then, oh, it's just jokes. It kind of reminds me of what's called the narcissist's prayer. That didn't happen, and if it did, it wasn't that bad. And if it was, that's not a big deal. And if it is, that's not my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, you deserved it.
That's a thing? This is my first time hearing about that.
In their initial podcast
Hold on, I gotta start holding certain people to that light.
The concept of men having leverage in their relationships. And while their opinions were a lot more skewed to men having the financial and emotional power over their partner, the core idea underneath it is much simpler. Respect. Any normal person understands that a relationship is supposed to be 50-50, which doesn't have to mean equal income. It means equal effort, equal care, equal consideration. But in this marriage, Jasleen holds all the emotional power because Akaash fears she will just leave him for someone else. And the truth is, she could. She could get someone more successful, more handsome, and he will deal with all of her shortcomings. At some point, Akaash will have to draw a line, and only then will he truly figure out if his wife is just joking or not. I can only hope that this type of love never finds any of you. This relationship dynamic is eerily similar.
I don't know, bro. Listen, if it works for them, it works for them, bro.